All right. As you rock your legs from side to side, notice where you feel resistance. And just be gentle with yourself. The next time your legs come to the right, let them stay there for 3 breaths. And then when you're ready, inhale, knees up. Exhale to the left for 3 breaths. And then let's inhale, bring our knees back up to neutral. And let's shift around until we feel our connections underneath our bodies. Noticing the back of your head, your shoulder blades, the backs of your arms. And if your arms are stretched out, the backs of your hands. Feel the back of your pelvis, the soles of your feet. And take a couple of nice deep breaths. And now let's slide our hands down, palms down next to our hips. Let's walk our heels up towards our bottoms and prepare for bridge pose. So just a gentle bridge. We're still warming up. We're just now warming up. So push into your feet as you slowly lift your tailbone and your back off the floor. Not a big bridge, just a little bridge. And then slowly lower your back down. Relax your back. And now let's bring our arms up into the air, palms facing each other. And then let them fall overhead, the backs of your palms onto the floor. Feel that stretch in your upper back, your underarms, chest. And now let's come into bridge pose, leaving our arms where they are, pushing into our feet and lifting our backs off the floor. Again, this doesn't have to be a big bridge. Now let's put some movement into this. We're going to inhale as our arms come up. Exhale, arms and back down to the floor. And inhale, arms and back come up. Exhale, arms come back down overhead. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, everything down. Inhale, everything up. Exhale, arms down. We're going to do this one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, everything down. This is the last time. Inhale, everything up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, everything down. And this time, let your hands rest under your rib cage. Release your legs so that they're not holding on so tight. Just find some comfortable position to be in so you can feel yourself breathe. Feel your ribs, feel your side ribs as you breathe in and out. Let's take 2 more breaths. And when you're ready for your next stretch, go ahead and bring your knees up towards your chest and gently rock side to side. So we're starting off kind of slow and easy. Easing into our yoga practice. Giving ourselves permission to slow down and take it easy. And then let's come back to neutral and pull our knees in as tight as we can. Big, big stretch, big hug. Hug your knees. Hug your legs. Hug yourself. And then reach around behind your legs. Hold on behind your knees. Straighten your legs up into the air and flex your feet. Feeling that stretch in the backs of your legs. Maybe all the way down your feet. And we're going to hold on behind the right knee. Hold on behind or in front and bend the right knee. Stretch the left leg out. The left leg goes almost to the floor. See if you can keep your feet flexed. And on our next inhale, let's switch sides. Exhale, left knee in, right leg out, almost to the floor. Feet stay flexed. And then we're going to move in and out of this pose 5 times on each side. Inhaling as we switch and exhaling as each knee comes in. Inhale, switch. Exhale, knee in. 5 times. One more time. And then we'll bring our feet back to the floor with our knees bent. Just take a breath or two. Notice how your legs feel. And when you're ready to move again, roll to one side and help yourself up to to a sitting position. Legs crossed into easy pose. And this does get easier the more you do it. For some people, this is not easy at all, sitting like this. We can just call it Indian style, or we can just say cross-legged position, but it is called easy pose. All right. So from here, let's just get ourselves grounded, feel our connections. Notice where you're touching the floor, your sitting bones, the backs of your legs, the sides of your legs, down by your ankles, your feet. And then notice your hands resting on your legs. Just take a few breaths, still in that slow motion, slowly warming up. We don't have to go anywhere, get anywhere. Here we are right here. Might as well just enjoy this moment where we are right now. Take a couple more breaths. And we're going to come into some spinal rotations. So go ahead and turn your torso to the right, as if your chin is reaching out toward your right knee. We're going to take an inhale here, and then exhale as we come down and around, and then inhale as we come back up, and exhale as we come back down. Big, free movements, no boundaries. Just let yourself flow. Let your back stretch out. You know where your edge of comfort is. You want to stay inside that comfort zone, especially when you're warming up. So you're inhaling up and exhaling down. And let's do 2 more in this direction. And then we'll come up to neutral. And today, let's go ahead and move the other leg in front. Reposition ourselves. And then turn your head to the left. And we'll do 8 in this direction. So inhale in neutral. Then exhale as you come down. And inhale as you come up. Two more times. We'll make our way back to neutral. Let our hands rest, relax our shoulders, take a few breaths. And next we're going to move into a spinal twist. So go ahead and turn to the right, bring your right hand behind you onto the mat, left hand on the outside of your knee or your thigh, anywhere it lands is fine. And then push your right shoulder back. So you're feeling a stretch in the right side of your chest, your shoulder, your belly. and your back. You can keep your head in neutral, or you can turn your head to the right. On our next inhale, let's come back to the front. And then exhale, twist to the left. Left hand on the mat, right hand on your leg. Left shoulder back. Let's take another breath or two. And then we'll slowly come back to the front. And then just move your shoulders, move your ribs, move your torso. Loosen, loosen, loosen up. All right. So let's do a side stretch next. So we're hitting all the big muscles before we start to do more complicated stretches. The right hand is next to your hip, beside you, and bring your left arm up and lean to the right. One more breath. And we'll release and switch sides. Left arm down, right arm up, lean to the left. Let's take another breath or two. And when you're ready, inhale, release your right arm. Exhale, shoulder rolls again. All right. So from here, let's go ahead and come up onto our hands and knees. So take your time getting there. Find your blanket if you need a blanket for your knees. Once you're settled on your hands and knees, just let your hips move side to side, loosening up, pushing your hips out as far as you can comfortably, really giving them a nice long stretch. And the next time your hip comes to the right, your right hip comes out, leave it there. And then rotate your pelvis, rotate your torso so that you're looking around at that hip. So you're making like a capital C with your right side. And then push your hip to the left and turn your head, arch your side so you're looking towards that left hip. And then rock side to side again a couple times. Loosen, loosen, loosen up. That's the theme for the day. Let's loosen up. And then we'll turn these tail wags, this is called tail wagging, into spinal rotations. So just start to make some circles with your torso. Slow and easy. Lubricating your joints. All your joints. You've got your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, your spine, your ribs, your hips, your knees. Almost all your joints are involved in this movement. And the next time you come back, pause and reverse. And let's go 2 more times. And then we'll come back to neutral. And you can either rest sitting on your heels in hero pose, you can come into child's pose, or you can stand up on your knees. So you choose how you want to rest. And it might feel good to rotate your wrists a little bit. Let's take another breath or two. And let's come back to our hands and knees as we make our transition to downward facing dog. But first we're going to do a calf stretch before we come to down dog. So take your right leg back, curl your toes, and push through your heel. One more breath. And release. And switch sides. Left leg stretches out. Push through your heel. You know when we come to down dog, we're going to feel that stretch again. Downward facing dog stretches the whole backs of our bodies. So let's go ahead and release. Prepare ourselves for downward facing dog. And remembering that we start on hands and knees, tabletop, and then we move to plank. And that's going to line us up perfectly for downward facing dog. So hold your plank for about 3 breaths if you want to. You can hold it longer. Or you can move right into that downward facing dog. Pushing your heels towards the floor, pushing your tailbone up, and letting your head drop between your arms. Let's take a couple more breaths. Then we'll rock forward into plank. Now we will hold for 3 breaths. And then we'll drop our knees down, keep our elbows in as we slowly lower down with a lot of control. And then inhale, just lift your head and chest. Your arms are not working. Your back is working. So there's no pressure on your hands for baby cobra. And then on our next inhale, Let's push back up. And we're going to come right into child's pose. So you can leave your arms out for extended child's pose, or you can cross your arms and let your head rest on your arms. And take a couple more breaths. And then we'll come back on our hands and knees and we'll do that sequence one more time. The same 4 poses. So when you're ready, find your plank. Hold it for 3 breaths if you'd like to, or you can move right into downward facing dog. And then downward facing dog, you're pushing your tailbone up. You're pushing your chest towards your thighs and your heels towards the floor. Your neck is loose and in neutral. One more breath. And then we'll come back to plank. At least 3 breaths. You can do 5, you can do 8, you can do 100 if you want. And then when you're ready, drop your knees, keep your elbows in, come down with a lot of control. And then relax your arms and lift your head and chest. Two more breaths. And then let's push back into child's pose. And let's take a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, help yourself back up. We're going to stand up on our knees. All right. So let's just start with baby camel. I call it modified camel. I like to curl my toes. That's not necessary. Your feet can stay flat. For me, this just feels more stable. You can use the heels of your hands or your fists on your low back. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Push your chest up. Lean back slightly until you feel a stretch in the fronts of your thighs. Maybe all the way up the front of your sides. Just take another breath or two. And then start your movement from your pelvis. Bring yourself back to neutral and see if you can come into rabbit pose. Reaching back and grabbing onto the bottoms of your feet. Let your head face the floor, but don't put any pressure on your head. Lean forward like you're coming into child's pose. And the idea is to push your spine up. another breath or two. And then help yourself back up onto your knees. So we're going to do a sequence here on our knees. We're going to do a lunge sequence. We're going to really work our hips. So let's go ahead and take our right leg out in front of us. And you might notice if you're directly on top of your left knee, that doesn't feel so good. So what I like to do is lean forward and then shift my knee back so that there's a nice slant on that left thigh. So then once you come up, you've got a nice big stretch here in the left thigh. Your right knee is directly over your right ankle. And then lift your hands up to your thigh. If this is not comfortable for you, keep your hands on the floor, or you can use a block. So right now we're opening up the left thigh. This area here that's always crunched up because we sit so much. It's not our fault, it's just our lifestyle. So now we deepen this stretch by inhaling, arms up, and leaning back just a little bit. One more breath. And bring your palms together. Bring them down to your heart, and as you do, your torso will naturally come back into alignment. It'll come into neutral. So you should still feel a stretch in your left thigh, but maybe not as intense. And then we're going to do a little twist. So with your hands in the center of your chest, turn to the right. Keep your hands in the center of your chest. One more breath. And then let's rotate back to the front. And now we're going to take the left hand down to the mat. You need to rearrange your legs. Sometimes your knee will get a little uncomfortable, so make sure you feel nice and comfortable here on your knee. Left hand is on the floor. Take your right shoulder and push it back, and let your right arm follow. One more breath. And then release your right hand down to the floor. Curl the toes on your left foot. Lift your left knee and push back into pyramid pose. One more breath. And then we'll drop that left knee back down. Bring your right knee back to meet it. And rest in child's pose or hero pose, sitting on your heels. Take a couple breaths. Find your center. Maybe you feel one side of your body is supercharged, over-invigorated. The other side is like, huh, what just happened? We're going to fix that. Right now, we're just resting. Let's take a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up. We're going to start standing on our knees again. And this time we'll stretch the left leg forward, bending that left knee, and then adjusting the right thigh. So the most important part of this is to keep your left knee directly over your ankle. Don't let it go forward. And to not be on top of your right kneecap. So you want a slight slant to your back leg. Get your equilibrium. Feel your foundation. Foundation may not feel too stable right now, but just notice that. You can do it. We do this all day long. We juggle all day long in awkward positions, right? So here we are in another awkward position. But look, we can do it. Inhale, arms up, and lean back. Look at how strong and graceful you are. And all the while, your breath flows. And you have a sense of calm and peace inside of yourself. You're working hard on the outside, but you are so peaceful on the inside. And then when you're ready, bring your palms together, down to your heart, straighten up. Take a breath or two. And then when you're ready, twist to the left. Keep your thumbs in your middle chest. Chin is lined up with your fingertips. So you're mostly feeling this in your right thigh, outside of your right hip. One more breath. And then we'll come back to neutral. And then we'll bring the right hand down to the mat. Adjust our back leg if we need to. And then we'll do that final twist. So take your left shoulder, push it back, and then let your left arm follow. Breath. Release your left arm down. Curl the toes on your right foot. Lift your right knee and push back into pyramid pose. Couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, bring your right knee back down, bring your left knee back to meet it, and find your favorite resting position. Let go. Let go of that effort. This is the beauty and the magic of yoga. We work hard. We get into these awkward positions. We wonder why we're doing it. This doesn't make sense. Why am I doing this? And then we rest. We just accept it because that's how life is. Life doesn't make sense. But as long as we rest in between all the craziness, all the chaos, we're going to be just fine. Take these moments. Use these moments as your own personal therapy. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then help yourself up. We're going to come up to standing next, so take your time. I'll need to adjust my computer just a little bit. So make your way up to standing in a wide stance. So you're standing long ways on your mat. So turn your toes out. Rock side to side. So sometimes this just naturally happens. I feel like I'm planting myself. It's like I'm claiming my space. This is where I'm going to be for the next few minutes. Once my feet get settled, I start to swing my arms, tap my sides. You can lift your hips. Lift your heels. You are lifting your hips, but see how it feels to lift your heels. Tap your sides, tap your back. Loosen, loosen, loosen up. Have to write a song with that phrase in it. And reach up and tap your chest a little higher on your back. These are all meridians for acupuncture, for Chinese medicine. So when we're doing this tapping, we're not just fooling around. We're moving energy, loosening things up. And then reach down and tap around your hips and your tailbone. And then start to slow down. Slow it down. Feet are nice and flat. Turn your toes out. Turn your hands out. Roll your shoulders back. Feel your connections. Feet are on the floor. That's our foundation, the bottoms of our feet. We're going to rely on our feet for the next few poses. And our feet wouldn't be anything without our legs. And our legs wouldn't be anything without our hips. And we can go on up the body, piece by piece. It's all connected. To feel your feet. And we're going to move into Warrior Two. Go ahead and relax your arms. Turn your left foot so your toes face the short edge of your mat. Turn your right foot so the outside edge of your right foot faces the other short edge of your mat. Bend your left knee. Make sure your pelvis is not turning. Your pelvis is lined up with the long edge of your mat. And then your arms come out in a straight line. You could stay right here, keep your head in neutral. Or if you want to, slowly turn and look toward your left middle finger. Hold your belly in, tuck your tailbone. Feel the power of your own body. You have more strength than you know. We all do. And from here, we're going to reverse this warrior. Turn your left palm up. Lift your left arm up. Slide your right arm down. And let's have a big side stretch for our left sides. bring our arms back down to warrior two, and then move into side angle pose. Bend in your left elbow, turn your palm up, rest your forearm on your thigh, and start with your right hand on your hip. And then push your right shoulder back. You could stay right here. This is just as good a pose as this is. So hand can be on your hip or up in the air. And then if you want a little deeper stretch for your right side, bring your arm down by your ear. And remember, you're not leaning on your leg. Your arm's just resting there. One more breath. We're going to release that top arm up and around. Put your hand back on your hip. Lift your torso and turn your left foot so it faces the long edge of your mat. So we're back in a straddle position. So let's take a little rest. Shoulders back. Take a couple breaths. Now we're going to move into warrior two, facing the other direction. So we're going to do that by turning the right foot so our toes face the short edge of the mat, bending our right knee, and your left foot should be almost in position. The edge of your foot parallel with the short edge of your mat. Heel lined up with the arch. Arms come out in a straight line. Warrior two. This is where we remember how strong we are, what we can do. How we can work and still be at peace. Let's move into reverse warrior. So turn our right palm up and tilt back. Reach up with your right arm, reach down with your left arm, push your right side up. Open up your rib cage. One more breath. And then we'll come back to warrior two, and we're making a transition to side angle pose. So bend your right elbow, turn your palm up, lay your forearm on your thigh, bring your left hand to your hip. Then push your left shoulder back. When you do, you'll open up the left side of your chest. You can stay here, or you can come here, or here. Notice the struggle. Notice your breath. Breath is what keeps you here. Without your breath, you would fall out of this pose in a minute. Let's take one more breath. Inhale the left arm up and around. And bring our torsos back up. Straighten the front leg. Turn our foot. So we're back in straddle. Take a few breaths. One more pose from this position, and then we're going to come down on the floor. So keep your legs in this position. We're going to come into straddle fold and move into wide-legged down dog. So you might have your hands on your hips. This helps you to remember to hinge at the hips. So feel your hips hinge as you start to lean forward. And then let your hands come down to the floor. Turn your toes in slightly. And feel your low back. Feel the backs of your legs. Let your neck relax. And then for wide-legged down dog, we just start to walk our hands forward, but we want to keep our feet flat. So as soon as you feel your heels start to come off the floor, stay right there, and then push your chest back towards your legs. And take a couple more breaths. And then start to walk your hands back toward your legs. And then walk your feet in towards each other. And you can come into a squat if you'd like, or you can just come right down on the floor. We're going to come right onto our backs. So if you'd like to have a squat, take a squat for 3 to 5 breaths. And then we'll make our way down onto our backs. Go ahead and lay down on your back. And let's start with our hands underneath our rib cage. Just feel ourselves breathe. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice the depth of your breath. You're breathing more deeply. And shift around till you feel that nice firm foundation under your shoulder blades, under your pelvis, the bottoms of your feet. And we asked our feet to do a lot of work today. And that's just in our yoga class. Some of us had to walk all day today. So let's lift our legs up and give our feet a break. Lift your legs straight up in the air. You don't need to flex your feet. Just let them hang out there. You can hold on behind your legs. It's sort of a gentle, loose connection. So we're not stretching. We're just reversing gravity for our legs and our feet. Let the blood flow down towards your hips and your pelvis. We also asked our hips and our pelvises to do work today. And now we're giving back to them, letting all that blood flow back. Give them what they need. While our legs are up here in the air, let's make some gentle ankle circles. Draw circles in the air with your toes. And then go the other way. And then we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and hold onto our shins for butterfly pose. And again, we're not trying to stretch, we're not making a big deal of this. We're just gently, loosely holding this position. Take a couple more breaths. And then release your legs back down to the floor. Knees bent. And just check in with yourself and see if there's any other stretching you'd like to do before you rest. Happy baby pose is always a favorite. Knees to chest. Figure four, spinal twist. Just take the next 2 or 3 minutes and complete your yoga journey for today. Or you can just rest. What is it that you want? What is it that you need right now?